If you desire your YouTube videos to look like the professionals, you don't need a better camera, you don't need a better smartphone. What you need is great lighting. Lighting is the secret sauce to making your videos look and feel amazing. And in this video, I'm gonna be breaking down this very setup that you see, and you'll be surprised from the tips that I share and the gear that I share that you can look just as good as this. So let's start off with some of the biggest mistakes I see newer creators make. And that first mistake is leaving your house lights on. Make sure you turn off whatever recessed lighting or lighting you have in your office. Turn it off. The more light you can control for your videos, the better. The second mistake newer creators make is the temperature of light they're using or the white balance setting in their camera. Now, you wanna make sure that the light that is hitting your face is at a daytime temperature. This light that I have set up, and I'll break down in just a moment, is set to 5,500 Kelvin, and then my in-camera white balance is actually locked in at about 4,700 Kelvin. You wanna make sure that your skin tones look like your real skin tones. If you have very warm lighting hitting your face, you can look like an orange. The other extreme is actually setting your white balance to be very cold and uninviting. And so these are just a few tweaks that you can make. And I just told you the settings. So if you're using a Sony camera like I am, you can just set it to 4,700 Kelvin and you should be pretty good right around there. The third lighting mistake that is created, especially from the ladies, is blasting their light, like turning their light to full power. When you have a good light, you don't need to turn it on to full power. If you have a good camera, you don't have to turn up your light to full power. The Ulanzi light I'm using right now is set to about 13% out of 100. So you don't need to fully blast your light, but let's just break down step by step how to achieve this shot that you're seeing right now so that you too can look drippy crispy for your next YouTube video. So the first light I want to talk about, it is the most important light, and that is the key light, AKA the light that is hitting my face. And the light that I'm using is the VL120 light from Ulanzi. I love this light because number one, you can get the perfect temperature and dial it in based on your situation or circumstance, but also it produces a very soft and large light. And that's what you want on your face if you want your face to look flattering. And ladies, if you want your face to look flattering, this is the light to go with. Another thing I love about this light is that you can use a V-mount battery to power it. So literally I'm lighting myself right now and there are no cables on the ground. And if you are in tight spaces, sometimes it's best to just not have any cables whatsoever. And so that's something else I like about the light. Another cool feature about this light is that you could change the modifier on the light itself. So right now you can see my favorite modifier. This is the Lantern Softbox by Ulanzi. And I like this modifier because it makes the light very forgiving, meaning you don't have to perfectly place your light to get a really good image from your camera. So that's one reason I like the Lantern. But if you want a more dramatic look, you can throw on a different softbox that has a grid on it, and it'll give you a little bit more of that cinematic look. Personally, I like my full face to kind of be lit up, but if you want some of that shadow, you could totally do that. When it comes to positioning your light, you definitely don't want to position your light too off to the side. There's a whole wave of creators right now telling people to put their light at 45 degrees. I actually am a fan of putting the light right next to the camera. Why don't you just get the light to light your face? And so I kind of just pick a side of the camera simply because the stand will allow it. And then I just light myself based on that. So it produces a really nice flattering shot. And if you want it way more dramatic, then yeah, just go ahead and move it a little bit off to the side if you want some more of that shadow fall off. And then the last thing is kind of a reminder, but just make sure you lock in the temperature of this light and that you set it to a daytime temp. And like I mentioned, 5,500 Kelvin is a great place to start. And that's the key light. That's really the main light. If you just had a great key light, you technically don't need anything else. Everything else that I'm gonna say after this moment is all gonna be a bonus and is just gonna make your shot look and feel a little bit more inviting. But at a bare minimum, you want a really good key light. And something about lighting, by the way, is you can just buy it once. You don't necessarily need to upgrade lighting in the future, so buy it right the first time, and I absolutely love this light from Ulanzi. The next light is kind of a free light, and you don't really need to buy one because you probably have one laying around in your house, and that is called an accent light. An accent light is a light that is in the background of your shot, and in Hollywood, they would oftentimes use lighting like this to set the mood. And if the rule is that your face's light should be daytime temperature, The rule is for the lights in behind you could be any temperature or any color. Notice what the light is doing when you put it up against the wall. It's creating a texture, which is just adding a little bit more visual interest in the shot. If I didn't have this lamp here, maybe I could put a plant, maybe I could put nothing. But either way, just adding something simple like this can create a good feeling. Now, here's a nice little Hollywood trick that they do in the movies that they don't want to tell you, and that is called motivated lighting. Motivated lighting, meaning the light that is hitting my face right now is not the light from the lamp, but it's making you think it is. And so what I have right here is actually a Ulanzi light bar that is USB rechargeable. You could change it to whatever color you would want it to be, and you can also change the brightness. But this is a very versatile light that you can use in so many different ways. In this shot in particular, I'm using it as a hair light, and I'm motivating the light from the lamp to hit a little bit of my face. Now, something that is causing you to kind of like this shot without you knowing it is that I have my key light coming in from this side of the shot, and then I'm having my accent lighting and my hair light coming from this side of the shot. So when you use the opposite sides of your shot to light yourself, whether it's from the back or the front, another cool thing about this Ulanzi light bar is that it's super versatile and you could throw it in the shot and actually see it in the shot. So you actually could see inside of my cabinet right here that the light is right there. I'm gonna turn it on in 3, 2, 1. And now you see that the light's right there, and it's kind of just a cool vibe. So, you know, when it comes to how you light yourself behind yourself, it really is on the personality and the feel you're trying to give off in your video. I'm kind of a less is more kind of guy, and I know a lot of streamers will go crazy with lighting, but for me, I love a good key light and I love a good hair light that has a motivated light hitting me. And so that's it. That is the breakdown of my lighting setup that you see right here. And I really hope that you have fun with this. Just keep it simple. You want your content creation process not to have any obstacles. And so once you dial in everything, just keep it the way it is, turn your lights on, turn your camera on, and hit record and start creating that content. Now, if you want to check out another video from Ulanzi, you can just click or tap the screen, and we'll see you in another video. Peace.
Ulanzi.